Ever picked up a cigar and thought, I have no bloody idea what I'm doing with this? Well, you're not alone. After 10 years of enjoying cigars, I'm going to share with you everything I wish somebody had told me before my first smoke. And trust me, these 5 tips will help you avoid some of those embarrassing moments. And in the last one, there's some hacks in case you find yourself in a tricky situation. So don't miss that one. Trust me on this one. Have a proper meal first. Why? Because nicotine on an empty stomach is like having 3 pints without dinner. Not the experience we're after. And I know that most of the times you have your first cigar experience is maybe at an event, maybe in a wedding. It happens a lot. And you couldn't prepare or you couldn't, have a proper meal before. Well, you can still try and snack some cheese, some crackers, some crisps. Just have something in your stomach. It will always help you with, dealing with that nicotine that is coming in. So you had something to eat, and now the question is, what can you smoke? Well, a light to medium cigar. Even if you're a cigarette smoker, it's better to start with something light than something strong and having a bad first experience. So let me show you some perfect beginner cigars. And I always recommend the cigar which I started with, which is a Cuban cigar, the Hoyo de Monterrey Epicure No. 2. Now, obviously, I started with that cigar and I've been smoking for over 10 years, so I did have a good experience. And it is a cigar that is widely recommended, especially here in the UK, because it's a mild cigar, it's very creamy, easy to smoke, is a Robusto, it's a great experience. It's a great starting point when you're thinking of starting on cigars. Another Cuban cigar could be the Ecuador Say No. 50. But if you're looking for something that is non-Cuban, say you don't have the opportunity or you're outside of the UK, maybe you're in the USA or something like this, the Davidoff Short Perfecto is a good cigar. This one, the Colombos Azul, another perfect cigar. This is a beautiful cigar to start with. It's also a great cigar if you already smoke cigars and just want a morning cigar, very light, but you have those notes that keep you entertained. It is a great cigar. We have this one in my store in toropuro.com, but if you're looking for something a little bit more elegant, I'll say Aladino Vintage Selection. I smoked that cigar and I found it very elegant. It is a vintage selection, so it has vintage tobacco, but that is more of a longer cigar. That is if you're looking for something a little bit more elegant, maybe if you're going to a wedding or you want to, stand out a little bit. But in my opinion, if you want to start smoking cigars, I'll say start with the Robusto, which is a cigar about this size. I think this is a perfect size to start with cigars because it will give you about 45 to 55 minute smoke, which is plentiful for you to really taste the cigar, to understand what this is all about, but it's not long that is going to bore you to death. If you are smoking maybe a Toro, a Grand Toro, you're going to be there for an hour, hour and a half. Some cigars will last you about 2 hours. So avoid those. This is something that you will enjoy. You will be able to pick up some notes. You will be able to understand it. And obviously they will be probably cheaper than a bigger cigar, depending when you are or depending what cigar you're buying. So a Robusto I think is a great size. The Aladino Vintage Selection is more of a Lancero, so it's a bit longer, but it's still thin cigar, so it still will last around 45 minutes or so. Another great cigar to start with. Okay, so you had your meal, you picked your cigar. Now, what tools do you need? Well, you need 2 things. You need a cutter and you need a lighter. Nothing fancy. Now, you can go and spend, there are some lighters that are worth, 1,000 pounds, 1,500 pounds, a lot of money. There are other lighters that are worth 10 pounds or maybe even less. Sometimes you even get them free. I would say just get one of those cheap lighters. As a matter of fact, I have, you can get something simple, very cheap, 10 pounds, more than enough, because if it's your first cigars that you're trying, or if you're attending an event and there's going to be cigars there, you don't want to be spending a lot of money on these tools. You need something that is reliable, so anything around the 10 pound, especially for a cutter, you need a cutter that is nicely built. Get a guillotine, because we have V-cut and punches and all of this. Just get a guillotine basically is two blades coming together. It gives you a nice cut, easy to see. Then when you're into cigars and stuff, you can start experimenting. Again, you can buy more expensive cutters. There's actually cutters that come with a plastic on the back, so that when you put the cigar there, you know you're not going to cut too much. You just cut enough to remove the cap and you're done. You can get some cheaper ones, but they're very flimsy and then you struggle to cut the cigar and stuff. So around the £10 in the UK money, you know, pounds we're talking here, £10 will be more than enough. You get a good cutter that is going to last you a couple of months, enough to give you a good opportunity of trying cigars. Same thing with the lighter. What I do think is something to keep in mind is try and get a jet lighter. I don't know if you can see, but a jet lighter is a blue flame lighter, and these ones are great because one, you are able to see where the flame is. Two, you are able also to know, it's much easier to see where you are pointing the flame to. But if you don't find one of these, a big lighter is fine. You don't need nothing special. Matches, you can do it with matches. The only thing with matches is you're going to run through a lot of them because cigars takes a little bit longer than just like a cigarette to light it up. So my recommendation is get yourself a jet lighter, £10, a cutter for £10, and you're done. This is not a cigarette. Cigarettes, yes, people will swallow that smoke, but this you don't swallow. You only inhale and you hold the smoke in your mouth, then you let go of the smoke. This is not a how to cut, how to light a cigar, or how to smoke it video, but I'm going to give you a quick demonstration. So you get your cutter and your cigar. Now, in your cigar, you're going to have, you might be able to see, I'm not sure if you can see on this video. Again, if you want a more in-depth video, I will be doing an in-depth video on how to cut, how to light your cigar, so subscribe for that. But this is just a quick rundown. Again, you know, say you're going to a wedding tomorrow, you need this. You will see there's like 3 little lines in the cap of the cigar. This is the part that goes in your mouth. This is the part that you're going to light. This part you need to cut. There's like 3 little lines there, and that's basically where the leaf has been wrapped around the cigar, and you'll be able to see them. The goal here is with your cutter to try and remove just that little bit of leaf to make an opening similar to what you have here. So stay above those lines. What I normally would suggest doing is, you know, have your finger there roughly, and then you can look on the other side. And if you're just cutting a little bit, it's better to start with less than more. So just take the cutter, say there, again, everything straight, and just go one straight cut. Now, that is beautiful cut. You can see that. You can see the lines over here. I'm sure you can. And that's that. So if you've cut your cigar, just give it a little tap. Sometimes you have like little leaves and stuff, little pieces. And then you just grab your lighter. Now, as I said, this is a jet lighter. You can get triple flame, single flames, all of this. I suggest starting with a single flame. This one is a triple flame. I also have this one. You start to accumulate them. It's a double flame. This is a Zippo, but it has a gas lighter inside, which is another good point. Use a gas lighter. Don't use a, you know, like a Zippo with a Zippo fluid lighter. That's not good because it's going to taint the taste of the cigar. But anyway, let's do it with this, and then you can see the flame. Hold the lighter at a 45-degree angle. Hold that one horizontally, and you try to touch the top of the cigar, and just turn the cigar around. Why the top? Because if you do the bottom, you can end up burning the outside of the cigar. The flame will go past the cigar on the top, and it doesn't normally ruin it. So this is the way we do it. And then, as you can see, are able to see exactly where you're hitting the cigar, because that's the part where it gets hotter. And when you see that the whole thing is lit, you can come and blow on it. You're able to see better. And then you hold in your mouth, and then you blow it out. do not swallow. All of these tools and all of these techniques are important, but the most important one here is do not swallow, because if you swallow, it's going to hurt your chest. You're going to have a really, really, really bad experience, and you might never come back to cigars. So concentrate. When it comes to the actual smoking part, concentrate. Take your time, think about it. You're going to puff on the cigar, hold the smoke in your mouth. In here, you can move it around, whatever. As long as you don't swallow it, you're fine. And just blow it out. So again, you can even blow it out your nose if you like. That's it. As long as you do that, you'll have a good experience. Now, the cigar will obviously continue smoking. You will pick up different notes, concentrate on not swallowing the smoke, and you will be fine. Not a problem. You can still enjoy your cigar, because I know that sometimes you're in a wedding and somebody will share a cigar with you and you're not ready to smoke it, or you want to smoke or you get an extra cigar or something, and then you end up being, at home without the right tools. Not a problem. So say you don't have a cutter. Well, if you got a sharp knife like this one, I've used, as long as it's clean, a knife. You can also use one of those Victorinox knife, those folding ones, but it's the same idea. Just all you got to do is keep above those lines and just little bit inside the cigar, and just turn it and turn it and turn it, and then you will see leaf coming off. Another way of doing it is with your nail. Same idea. Just pinch, 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 and then there you go. It's a bit messier, but look, you can still take the leaf off, and that's how it's going to look like. All we are doing when you're using a cutter is opening the cap of the cigar. So if you can do it with the cutter, you can do it with a knife, you could do it with a nail. The problem with using the nail is that you might have little bits, and then you might find them in your tongue. But if you're okay with that, again, you can tap it so that if any loose leaf is there, you can just get rid of it and you're fine to enjoy. Now, say you don't have a jet lighter, which is what I recommended earlier. Well, you can always use a match, normal matches. So I got some matches over here. These ones are cigar matches. You can see they're quite long. What I will say is, if you're going to use a match, light up your match and wait. Wait until the flame starts hitting the wooden part. And then now you bring the cigar over. Yes. And then you start playing with the flame and you try to light your cigar this way. It takes a little bit longer. That's why I say using one of these is perfect. Now, again, you don't have this. You don't have a match. What can you use? You can use a normal big lighter. Just go to your petrol station or any shop around town and you're able to find one of those big soft flame lighters. That's fine. It will be the same idea as with the match. You just got to turn the cigar around. Let me demonstrate that again. The difference between using a jet lighter and a match. Jet lighter, keep the cigar straight. Jet lighter at an angle. Keep a distance as well, because it's too hot. If you put it too close, you're just going to burn the cigar. So keep it far away and bring it in slowly, and you'll be able to see when the cigar is being lit. As you can see, look at the distance on that. But if you're using a match, because the heat coming from it is not as powerful as one of those lighters, then what you got to do is put the match looking down maybe, and then you bring the cigar right over it and just turn it and turn it and turn it, and slowly you will be able to light it up. You're going to need a couple of matches. Same thing if you're using a normal soft flame lighter. Just turn it and you will light it up. If you ever feel dizzy or about to faint or unwell when smoking a cigar, then have something sweet. Either a glass of water with some sugar or a sweet, something like that. It will raise your blood sugar levels, which will help you alleviate the symptoms of cigar sickness. And this especially happens when you smoke on an empty stomach. That's why I recommended at the beginning to have something to eat. So the sugar will counter effect the nicotines in your body, and it will stabilize your blood sugar. And that's another good tip that a lot of people don't share, and I think is very important because it happens to everybody, not just beginners. If you're smoking a very strong cigar, even if you had lunch, you can also feel like this. So if you ever feel like you're sweating, you're cold, or you're dizzy and you want to throw up and things like this, have something sweet. And there you have it, everything you need to know for your first cigar experience. Hit the subscribe button for more cigar tips, and let me know in the comments about your first cigar experience. I would love to hear your stories.